Hello YouTube. This is Connor from Themes and Tuts. Today, what we got coming at you is a URL shortener, something like Bitly or something like tiny URL. Basically, you put in a big long URL like a Google Maps location or something, and it gives you a shorter 12 to 15 character link that you can send to friends or put on your phone or bookmark or whatever you want to do. Basically just redirects you to that page. A little about this tutorial. It's going to teach some basic concepts of HTML, PHP, and MySQL, as well as htaccess files. We're only going to be really using the mod rewrite function to rewrite our dynamic URLs into something more static while actually shortening them as well. What you need to know is some basic HTML syntax, basic PHP syntax, and some knowledge of how web forms work with get and post variables. This is a pretty easy tutorial. I would recommend it for beginners to intermediate. First of all, you can get the HTML code for the web form right here on Pasty. I've actually also posted the .htaccess file. Excuse me, it's Pastebin, not Pasty. I've also posted the .htaccess file and all of the PHP code that is needed to Pasty as well. Not so that you can copy and paste it, but so that you can read along with something a little better than the code from my screen. During this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through how to set up the database, and I'll go line by line through my code explaining what each line does. And then we're going to go ahead and test it out for you to see. And alright, so let's begin. The file structure is pretty simple. It's going to have 3 files: an index page with our form and our form processing, a short.php page, which is going to be mainly for our redirect function, and our .htaccess file. I have the 3 of them over here if you want to take a look. That's all for the file structure. Very simple, not as complex as any of the sites that are actually out there. This is not meant to replace them or any means, just to basically teach some basic concepts as opposed to just reading certain functions and whatnot out of PHP manuals or what have you. First of all, you need to make sure you have MAMP or WAMP, a web server that you can run locally, or if you have one, an external web server somewhere hooked up to your domain name, feel free to use that. Let's go ahead and set up our MySQL database. I have the MySQL, no, sorry, this is our PHP code right there. Let's go ahead and start phpMyAdmin. URL shrink, we got this right here. Our table, we named it URLs. And we have 2 fields. The 2 fields are ID and URL. ID is set to auto increment as well as the primary key. It is an integer as well, as that is the only thing that can be used with auto increment, I believe. And URL is varchar. Varchar means variable characters, so it can support letters, numbers, symbols, basically anything that's going to be in a URL. That's it for the database and the server. Now we can move right to code. In our HTML, we have an input field. This input field is named long URL. Basically, that's where we're going to be entering in our long URLs and our submit button named shrink. Let's go ahead and move on up to the PHP code. I have all of our PHP code enclosed in an if block, just so that I can have my HTML and my PHP in the same file, as opposed to action.php, method.php, whatever. And that is also why the action of our form is set to index.php. On the first line, if post shrink, so if the form has been submitted, then perform the rest of this function. There's no else to it, the else being just this HTML right here. Define your variables. It is very important that you use lots of comments in your code. It's so easy to get lost and confused and not know what block of code is doing what, especially if you're collaborating with somebody or creating an open source project for somebody else to use. Comments are the best. The best programmers even struggle with this. I really don't like to code a lot. I just like to comment a lot. I just like to get down and dirty, get it done. Even afterwards, you just need to go in and comment. It is very, very helpful. We have two basic URLs right here. Long URL, that is the URL submitted from our form, and short URL, not yet assigned a value. Right here is our MySQL variables to connect, host being localhost. If in fact your MySQL server is on the same server as your Apache server. Username, root, password, database, URL shrink. That's what we're calling it. This next line right here, MySQL connect. We're just going to go ahead and quickly connect to the database, and if it doesn't, it's going to spit out an error for us to help figure it out. And then we're going to select the database, that database being URL shrink. As you can see right here, that's our database. And now that we're connected, we're going to perform a query. We're going to take the URL that was submitted through this form, and we're going to insert it into our database. Right here, insert into the database URLs. We're going to insert an ID and a URL. The values being null for ID, since we have it set to auto increment, and long URL, the URL that was submitted. Again, or die MySQL error. Very, very helpful when developing. So if something goes wrong, PHP will let you know, or MySQL rather, will let you know what's going on. Next, we have this if block right here, this if else block. If the insert query was performed, then we are going to grab that URL that was submitted because we want the ID, and we're going to redirect somebody, or the user, the submitter, to this page right here. As you see right here, slash URL shrinker slash s slash, you'll notice that I do not have a folder excuse me, named s. That is what our htaccess file is for. Realistically, to the server, this is index.php question mark URL equals and then an ID or something like that. We use the .htaccess file, which I'll talk about, which I'll address later, to not only make it more pleasant to see and better for search engines, but it actually makes our URL shorter as well by taking out a lot of these symbols. In our else block, we don't really have it doing anything. If the query fails, you'll just see a blank page. You can put whatever you want in there. I just chose not to put anything. And then finally, close the connection. Very important, close the connection. Let's move on to the bottom of our HTML document. In here, if you see this PHP block right here, that is where the URL will be spit out for the user to copy and paste and send to friends or bookmark or whatever. After we've been redirected, it's going to grab the ID that is in the URL and generate the link, your shortened URL is this. You'll see it better in at the end when we go ahead and test this out. Basically, it's just using simple concatenation and the get variable to generate the link. I'm using deshex to convert the decimal ID into a hexadecimal number. Hexadecimal is a base 16 counting system as opposed to regular decimal, allowing us to use fewer characters, letters, and numbers to count upwards, basically allowing us to have even shorter URLs as well. Instead of using 1 through 100, it counts from 1 to 100 in base 16. The next file we need to look at is short.php. This is the file that is redirecting users to the submitted page. We're going to grab the ID from the URL, convert it to hexadecimal again, and connect to our database one more time since we closed out in our last file. Same basic stuff, same variables, same everything. Next is this array right here. We're going to select everything from our URLs table where the ID is the same as the ID in the current page that we're on, up at the top in your address bar, or die a MySQL error. I always put these after every query just to help me out, as should you, especially if you're just beginning. Very, very helpful. We're going to use the header function to redirect us to our website. Right here, long URL being the URL grabbed from the database. And then again, we are going to close our connection. The next file is the htaccess file. This allows us to transform the URLs pretty much into anything we want. An example would be a big news website like Yahoo, where the URL might be yahoo.com/news/politics/Obama/new healthcare reform bill.html. Do you really think that they have a directory system set up like that using static HTML pages? No, it's really just used to make it easier for people to navigate, web crawlers to navigate, and to make it look even prettier. These first two lines are going to turn on our rewrite engine, and this line right here is what we're going to use to transform short.php with the URL into just localhost /s/the ID. That's the page where the link will be spit out. Oh, excuse me. That is this line right here. This is the page where it will be spit out. This is in fact the redirect page. Again, all of these files are located in the description via Pastebin. If you have any questions, please comment, please subscribe, please tell your friends. Let's go ahead and test this out. Okay, here's our shrink page. Let's go ahead and grab something from let's go to YouTube. What's a cool channel we can go to? How about themes and tuts? Looks like Sean, one of our other tutorial creators, has created a video for us to watch. I'll go ahead and link you to that. See how long that URL is? Gross, ugly. Let's go ahead and shrink it. Go ahead and paste that into our input field and click the shrink button. As you will see, our URL was redirected to URL Shortener /s/1 because that is the first item that was inserted into our database, as you can see right here. And if we go ahead and hover over it, if you look down at in this area right here when I hover over, the URL is localhost 88888/URL Shortener/1, and when we click on it, instantly redirected to that YouTube page. That is it. It worked perfectly. Really great, really fast, really simple tutorial for all of you guys. You know, basically just...
What is up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the brand new YouTube logo that you see on the new YouTube site. A couple things.
Okay guys, again, that's all for the tutorial. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments. If anything's not clear, let me know. This is my first tutorial I've made for themes and tuts. Hopefully they'll get better as we go along. It's been great, and peace out.